Thousands of people have mysteriously vanished in America's wilderness. Under strange and unexplainable circumstances. Most cases remain unsolved. What happened? Where did they go? Locations unknown.
Thousands of people have mysteriously vanished in America's wilderness. Join us as we dive into the deep end of the unexplainable and try to piece together what happened. You are listening to Locations Unknown.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Locations Unknown. I'm your co-host, Joe Erado, and with me, as always, is a guy who would have stopped the Mount Etna eruption, Mike Vandebogart.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you once again to all of our loyal listeners for tuning in. Just a couple of announcements before we get going here. First, new Patreon shoutouts, so thank you to Sarah McDonough, Amanda Wood, Emily Struble. Thank you so much for supporting the show. We always say that, but we really truly mean it. So
Just this time?
just this time, but usually all the time.
Yes.
If you want to call the show, call 208-391-6913. Leave a voicemail or text the show. Anything you say will be put on the show. The crazier it is, the better likelihood it will make it onto an episode.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to check out some other shows on our network, you can check out Peanut Butter and Mountain Podcast, Off the Trails, The Weirdos We Know, Who Runs This Park, and Crime Off the Grid. If you want to support the show, you can support us through, obviously, Patreon, YouTube memberships, premium subscriptions on Apple, and Spreaker. And if money's tight, you can always just give us a like on this video, leave us a review on wherever you listen to the show, and spread the show with your family and friends. And finally, as we've been saying, we are moving out of our current studio in a few weeks now.
Oh,
end
yeah,
of June.
it's getting close.
It's getting close. So
we're going to have to start, doing that.
I know. That's a 2 week from now Mike problem.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree. That's a 2 week from now Mike problem.
Oh, yeah. And Joe. And so we're probably going to be taking the month of July off as we get the new studio up and running. So we'll still be posting stuff, but we won't be doing a normal episode during that time.
Yep.
Other than that, any updates from you?
Nope.
All right.
All right, everybody, let's gear up and get out to explore Locations Unknown. April 2010. A young American backpacker set out alone on a trek through Nepal's scenic Langtang Valley. She was last seen confidently hiking along a popular trail, but then vanished without a trace. Despite exhaustive searches, not a single piece of evidence emerged. This disappearance remains one of Nepal's most puzzling mysteries, leaving her family still searching for answers more than a decade later. Was it a tragic accident, or did she fall victim to something darker? Join us this week as we investigate the case of Aubrey Sacco. So this case brings us all the way to Langtang National Park. It's the main trekking trail between the Lama Hotel, about 8,104 feet, and Rimchi.
Haven't been there myself yet.
No, I have not been to Langtang National Park, but I want to go.
Yeah.
This is a standard, well-trodden section of the trail that follows the Langtang Kola River. The walk between these 2 points is short, typically taking only 20 to 30 minutes. So as we said in the intro, it is in Nepal. It was established in 1976. So we don't have any information on visitors or habitation. They don't keep as good records as we do.
What I found was before COVID, they were getting they'd get like 15 to 17,000 visitors a year. So it's not.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then during and after COVID, it went down to basically zero, and it's starting to recover.
Okay.
So it's a pretty, I guess you'd call it a remote park.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty remote.
Yeah.
So we'll do some interesting facts about Nepal. It's one of the places I haven't visited yet that I'm dying to go.
Yeah.
Contains 8 to 10 of the highest mountains in the world, including the highest, Mount Everest, at 8,848.86 meters or 29,031.7 feet. This makes it the undisputed rooftop of the world.
Never thought of it like that.
Yeah, that's as high as you can climb. It's not technically the tallest mountain.
No, we've covered that.
Yeah, because it's the one that's in the ocean, but like half of it's underwater, so
Yeah.
that's why. So it has the world's most extreme elevation changes. Nepal has the most dramatic variation in altitude on Earth. The elevation rises from as low as 60 meters or 197 feet above sea level in the southern Terai Plains to the summit of Mount Everest, all within a distance of 93 miles or 150 kilometers. That is pretty crazy.
That's some good elevation gain.
Yeah, that's wild. I wonder if anyone's ever done ocean to summit and back again.
I'm sure
I feel like somebody has.
somebody probably has done that.
Yeah. This creates an astonishing diversity of climates, ecosystems from tropical jungles to Arctic-like conditions. Nepal's national flag is the only one in the world that is not a quadrilateral or a four-sided shape. It is made of 2 stacked triangular pennants representing the Himalayan mountains and the 2 major religions, Hinduism and Buddhism. The sun and moon symbols represent the hope that the nation will last as long as the celestial bodies.
You'll have to pull that up at some point this episode.
I will.
We can,
I'll pull it up.
Curious.
Yeah, once you start talking, I'll get on there. Nepal uses its own official calendar, the Bikram Sambat, or BS, which is approximately 56.7 years ahead of the Gregorian calendar AD. For example, the year 2024 AD corresponds to the year 2081 BS. The Nepali New Year typically falls in mid-April. So they're living in the future.
They are.
They're living way in the future.
And if you were, you could do 2 New Year parties in a row in 1 year.
That sounds like a good time. I'll do that.
Yeah.
The jungles of southern Nepal, particularly the Chitwan National Park, another UNESCO site, are home to a rare one-horned rhinoceros and the elusive Bengal tiger. The country is one of the best places in the world to see these magnificent animals. Despite being sandwiched between 2 historical giants, British India and Imperial China, Nepal was never formally colonized.
British India.
British India, what did I say?
British, then India.
Oh. It maintained its sovereignty through a combination of fierce resistance, strategic diplomacy, and its formidable mountain terrain. It's just hard to get to.
Yeah, that's
They're like, never mind.
that's probably the main reason. All those other things sound interesting.
They tried a couple times, like, nah.
Yeah, we'll just move on.
Yeah. A little bit about the climate. The area where Aubrey Sacco disappeared between the Lama Hotel and Rimchi at an elevation of about 2,400 meters or 8,100 feet falls within the Himalayan temperate climate zone. This climate is not static. It is dramatically influenced by both altitude and the powerful South Asian monsoon cycle. This results in 4 distinct seasons, each presenting vastly different environmental conditions, ranging from ideal trekking weather to periods of extreme hazard. Aubrey's trek in late April occurred during the spring season, which is March to May, which is considered the second best time for trekking. Typically, day during this period begins with clear sunny skies and excellent mountain visibility. As the day progresses, it is common for clouds to build, sometimes leading to brief afternoon showers of rain or light snow. While daytime temperatures are mild and pleasant, nights are cold, frequently dropping to near freezing. The environment is vibrant with blooming rhododendrons, but the rivers are dangerously swollen, cold, and fast-moving with glacial meltwater. In stark contrast, the summer monsoon season, which is June to August, is the most hazardous time for the Langtang Valley. This period is defined by hot, humid conditions and near daily heavy rainfall. The trails become treacherous, turning into muddy, slippery paths infested with leeches. The persistent rain saturates the hillsides, creating an extremely high risk of landslides and flash floods, which can wipe out sections of the trail without warning. Mountain views are almost completely obscured by thick cloud cover. The autumn season, September to November, is considered the absolute peak time for trekking due to its stable and favorable weather. The monsoon rains have washed all the dust from the atmosphere, leaving the air crisp and the skies a deep, clear blue. This results in unparalleled panoramic views of the high Himalayas. The weather is consistently dry, with mild day temperatures and cool, clear nights, offering the safest and most pleasant conditions for travel in the region. The winter season, December to February, brings the coldest temperatures and the potential for significant snow. While the weather is generally dry and clear, the extreme cold presents its own challenges. Temperatures at night consistently drop well below freezing, and trails can become covered in ice, making them hazardous. Due to the harsh conditions and heavy snowfall at higher elevations, many guest houses and lodges close down during this period, making it the least popular time for trekking.
It sounds like just a pretty difficult place to hike.
Yes. You have a very small window to get the decent time, otherwise just don't go.
Yeah.
So about the terrain, the terrain in the area where Aubrey Sacco's disappearance happened is defined by dramatic topography of a deep V-shaped river gorge. The trail itself carved into the steep jungle-covered hillside running parallel to the powerful Langtang Kola River below. This creates a setting of immense natural beauty, but also one of constant exposure with a steep upward slope on one side of the trail and a precipitous, often unguarded drop-off towards the river on the other side.
It sounds really cool.
Yeah, I'm sure its view is gorgeous.
Yeah,
but
we'll get
see
some,
how dangerous it will be.
We'll get some pictures of it up once I get blathering.
The trail between the Lama Hotel and the Rimchi is a narrow single-file path, not a wide graded track. Its surface is uneven, composed of packed earth, exposed tree roots, and embedded rocks, requiring constant attention to one's footing. It winds through a dense temperate forest which limits long-range visibility and creates a sense of enclosure despite the vastness of the surrounding mountains. A dominant feature of the landscape is the Langtang Kola River itself. This is not a gentle stream, but a powerful glacial-fed torrent. The water is extremely cold, fast-moving, and turbulent, filled with rapids and strong currents. The river's constant, deafening roar echoes through the gorge, a sound powerful enough to drown out most other noises, including a human voice calling for help. This acoustic environment is a critical factor in any scenario of what might have happened. The vegetation at this altitude, it's approximately 2,400 meters, consists of dense mixed conifers and broadleaf forests. This includes oak trees, bamboo thickets, and most famous, a vast forest of rhododendrons. The undergrowth is thick, meaning that if a person or object were to go even a few meters off the established trail, they would be quickly obscured from view, making search incredibly difficult. The precise point of disappearance is a natural choke point with a unique combination of hazardous features. The trail first crosses an exposed landslide, or scree field, an unstable slope of loose rock and debris. It then traverses a small wooden bridge over a tributary stream before making a sharp blind turn behind a large rock outcropping. This specific sequence of terrain features, instability, a crossing, and a point of concealment creates what investigators identified as a perfect natural ambush location, while also being a plausible spot for tragic unwitnessed accidents. So some of the animals in the area, the Himalayan tiger, are large goat-like, Himalayan tear, large goat-like animal, the Himalayan black bear, snow leopard is more common at higher elevations, the common leopard, primarily nocturnal and secretive, the red panda, despite its bear-like name, the red panda is small, arboreal mammal, roughly the size of a large house cat that feeds on bamboo. It is extremely shy and poses absolutely no threat to humans. Outside of that, you can get altitude sickness, slips, trips, falls, landslides, rock falls, hypothermia from the exposure, any of your standard gastrointestinal illnesses from drinking untreated water, things like that. So
yeah.
Mike, I'm just remembering now. Have you been drinking your Magic Mine?
I have been, Joe. So should we?
No, I'm drinking mine right now.
Should we take our free?
Yes, I'm doing the free.
Okay, so am I. So bear with us.
So this is really cool, Mike. Tell them why we have these.
Well,
we've been using them for a few days.
Yeah. So Joe and I both have we have our different struggles with caffeine.
I have brain fog big time.
Yeah. So go into a little bit. I've known you for 20 years, and you are a high energy person, but you also suffer from constant brain fog.
Yes, I want to do all the I want to do all the things and get distracted, and I definitely don't need caffeine.
Yeah.
So I was a huge fan of the free ones, but what they had us do, Mike, if you want to describe it, we got they have 3 different kinds now because we've been working with them for a while.
Yeah, we've worked with Magic Mine in the past, and back when they had 1 shot, and they now have 3 different shots. And when they reached out to us about trying out the new shots, I didn't even hesitate because we loved their regular shot back in the day.
Yeah, like when they were a new company, they reached out to us to do a sponsorship, and I've liked all their stuff ever since.
Yeah, and I mean, I suffer from the exact opposite thing as Joe. I am a caffeine junkie, so I have to take just immense amounts of caffeine just to get to neutral. And
You'd be asleep right now if you weren't on
I
like
would be.
12 Magic Minds.
And I'm honestly saying this. So the one that I like the most is the Magic Mind Max, MAXX. So
How much caffeine does it have in that one?
I've been taking, so we were tasked to do
165 milligrams. So that's the max.
That's the max. So we were tasked to do this for 6 days, take 2 shots each day. So the max for 2 days, the regular for 2 days, and the free. And I started out my mornings for 2 mornings with the max. And I have to tell you that I honestly can say that I feel like I'm consuming less caffeine, but I'm still having the same amount of focus and alertness.
It doesn't spike.
It doesn't
That's the
spike.
nice. That's the nice. They have some like time release version of caffeine.
Yeah, so
they said why it does it, but it literally, like when you drink a cup of coffee and it like hits you and then tapers off.
Yeah.
This like slow rolls up, plateaus for a while, then slow rolls off. So it's like way more,
yeah, so like for
or way
Joe's
less aggressive.
Joe's situation, constant brain fog. For him, he really liked the regular and the free.
Yes.
And that is because these are each shot you can see on the screen here is loaded with vitamins B, C, and D. And for me, I get caffeine in any way possible. And it hits you all at once, like Joe said, and you get this super big rush, and then you come crashing down. And I would take the max in the morning, and then I would take the regular at lunch, which is about 55 milligrams of caffeine. And then I round out the end of the day with the free, which is caffeine free, which kind of keeps that alertness going. And it's because they've somehow managed to make this time release the caffeine in it.
Yeah, the nano encapsulation, L-theanine.
Yeah, so you take the caffeine and it's slowly releasing for 3 to 4 hours, which is amazing because then you don't get that crash. And you don't get the jitters from it hitting you all at once.
Yeah, and it's your full B, C, and D vitamins for the day, so that helps with brain fog.
And
so
I tested
I don't
it
have
over
to take all the different pills. I can just do the one shot. It's awesome.
The 6 days I tested it over were I was at work one day. The next day I was dealing with my 2 little toddlers that are crazy.
and you need like 4 maxes.
Yeah.
to deal with them.
And then I had a wedding in Chicago the next day. And then where are we at? So that was.
And now you're here.
No, then I had a couple more days of work. So I've got to say the max is great when you need to really get something done. You pop it in the morning and it keeps you going. And I found that when I took the regular, that was good for me, at least for like a midday. I needed a little boost, but I didn't want to take too much caffeine. And then the free for me was on those 2 of the days where I had regular caffeine throughout the day, but you get to 3 or 4 o'clock in the day, you don't want to be taking caffeine. So you take the free, and it really helped me keep that alertness to kind of finish out the day strong. So I highly recommend. Joe and I don't throw around recommendations for products often.
I've been using it outside of this the whole time since they started sponsoring us anyway. So when they sent us all the new stuff, it was awesome because it was like, oh, cool, new product to try.
Yeah.
But
so if I were to recommend, if any of you listening are like caffeine,
sound like Mike,
caffeine junkies, where if you could get it shot into your veins, you would. I would recommend the max and the regular for you. So wake up in the morning, take your max, and then around lunch, take the regular. So max has the dark green cap, regular has the clear cap, and the free has the light green cap. It's great. It'll help you remember which ones to take.
Yeah, the regular's got 55 milligrams of caffeine, so a decent amount.
If you're like Joe,
I'm a free guy
who is already high energy, I'd recommend probably maybe take the regular in the morning.
I've done the regular and it's been fine.
Yeah, take the regular in the morning and then hit a free later in the day, and you're going to be golden.
I love them. I like the taste too.
They taste good too. It's not like some of the other stuff you can take that just tastes like battery
acid. They didn't sweeten it, so they didn't put like crap in there to make it like taste good. But like how the vitamins are laid out, like tastes like it's a good flavor.
So if you want to take, since they're launching these shots, they have a promotion going on right now, so you can visit https://magicmind.com/unknownmf or code unknown60, and it'll get you 60% off your subscription, which
That's
is
really good.
pretty much stealing the product from them.
That's actually really good.
So
That's one of the best deals of any advertisement we've had.
I'm
so.
gonna get all my friends and family to take advantage of it, so we can get a nice
Oh,
big stockpile.
and what happens if you don't like it?
Oh, yeah.
Like this is like it's already a great deal,
Yeah.
but
So they have a 100% money back guarantee. So if you don't like it, they will give you a 100% refund, no questions asked. So basically, you're trying it for free, and then you can cancel your subscription anytime. So
it would be dumb not to try it.
it would be. You're basically stealing it from them,
Yeah.
and then you can cancel and get your money back. So, but we know, just like us, you are going to like it so much, you're
Yeah.
not going to want to cancel, and you're going to keep it going. Like I said, I'm going to
Yeah,
strong arm.
my wife started taking them.
Yeah, Joe's wife used to be a big coffee drinker. She now drinks
Yeah,
Magic Mind.
she stopped doing it and started doing the Max Replace It to see what it was like, and
Yeah.
it was working.
So take advantage of this offer. You're not going to regret
real.
it. And we'd like to just once again thank you to Magic Mind
thank
for
you.
sticking with us.
They've been with us for a long time.
long time. We really like them, and they make some great products. So check it out.
Yeah, that's true because we've turned down product stuff that we just didn't feel. We've turned down a couple things because we're like, yeah, we don't really support that. So
Yeah, we've turned down some funny ones. So
Yeah.
we won't get into those.
yes.
All
But
right.
anyway,
So back to the character profile of Aubrey. So her name is Aubrey Sacco. She was born October 21st, 1986. She went missing April 22nd of 2010. She was a female, age 23. She was 5'4", 125 pounds. She had brown shoulder-length hair, brown eyes. She was a Caucasian, and a lot of people described her as having a fit, athletic build. Clothing she was last seen in, so she had a large 60-liter Osprey model, lime green and yellow color, perfect color for going hiking in, because if you get lost, there's no way someone's going to not see that somewhere. And she had trekking pants, layered shirts, sturdy hiking boots. She would always be known for carrying a point-and-shoot camera and personal journal. We did find out later in this case that the camera and journal were left in her Kathmandu guest house with her laptop. And none of the items that she was hiking with, not even a piece of clothing or equipment, have been recovered in all this time. Personality-wise, she was described by family and friends as meticulous and cautious. Described by all who knew her, her 5-month trip was well-researched, and her final email home was deliberately crafted to be reassuring, showing her awareness of her family's concerns. She was described as compassionate and, dedicated a significant time during her travels to service, including studying yoga and Buddhism, and volunteering to teaching art to children. So she, independent and confident. She was an experienced solo traveler, which, is not something that everyone can do. It's relying on yourself to get everywhere, especially in a foreign country. She was comfortable and capable of navigating foreign environments. She wasn't timid or easily intimidated. All great things to have if you're a solo traveler. She was also described as just a very intelligent, observant woman. She was a dual major in art and psychology. She was trained to be observant of her surroundings and human behavior. Very important when you're hiking alone and in a foreign country. So, medical issues. There were no known medical issues that I could find. All the reports and family accounts confirm Aubrey was in excellent physical and mental health. She had no conditions such as epilepsy, vertigo, or a heart condition that would have maybe led to a problem on this trip. Her occupation at the time of the disappearance, she was just a recent university graduate.
okay.
And she had planned on a gap year. So I wish I would have done something like that out of college. Kind of.
Before you jump into the real world,
But yeah, before time starts ticking away once you start working. And next thing you know, you're retiring.
I was busy having kids,
Yeah.
nonstop.
Yeah. Though they're all leaving the nest now slowly. So
Yes,
You'll get to.
I'm going to Electric Forest next week, so
There you go. So
I'm getting back into it.
there is hope at the end of the tunnel for you, Joe.
There is.
So, Her life was also defined by her hobbies. That included hiking, trekking, yoga, art, international travel, cultural immersion, experience in the wilderness. So she did grow up in Colorado, so very familiar with mountain environments and had significant hiking experience, at least in Colorado. And like I've kept saying, is she was very physically fit and prepared for alpine hiking. Experience in this location, though, so she had only been in Nepal for a few days before starting her trek. So her experience there, at least, was very limited, and her experience in the Langtang Valley was also limited, as this was her first time on this specific trek. So this might have presented some challenges. There's a lot of unique terrain trails, but the route she was on was considered a standard, well-used, non-technical route. So it's completed by thousands of trekkers of varying experience levels every year. And she was not really in an exceptionally remote or technically difficult area when she disappeared. So doesn't make a lot of sense. Jumping right into timeline. So it's April 18th of 2010. Aubrey arrives at Tribhuvan International Airport, or KTM, in Kathmandu. She proceeds to the Thamel district and checks into Kathmandu Guest House, a historic and well-known hub for international trekkers and mountaineers. It's now between April 19th and April 20th of 2010. She spends these full 2 days on final mission-specific preparation. So she, very meticulous, not even taking time to sightsee. She's still planning for her trek, which is great to see. Her activities are focused and purposeful. She acquires a detailed topographical map of the valley, purchases trail-specific provisions, and actively seeks intelligence on route conditions and from fellow travelers and local contacts.
Okay, so she's really doing her homework.
Yeah, this is stuff most people don't do. Probably
Yeah,
stuff Joe and I haven't even done.
I haven't gone that deep, and
No.
I mean, we'll do a lot of it ahead of time, but not like that live. So
Yeah.
good for her.
Good for her. Her choice of Langtang Trek was deliberate, based on research indicating it was a less crowded and more authentic Himalayan experience compared to some of the other trails she could have done on, maybe the, Everest.
Sure. Like the Everest Base Camp.
I would still like to do that someday.
I want to do that.
So it's April 20th of 2010. It's in the morning, approximately 9 a.m. from an internet cafe in Kathmandu. She sends her her final email to her family. So this message was detailed and explicitly designed to be reassuring. So now this is a direct quote from the email. Hello, my dearest family. I have been in Nepal for a couple of days now. I am going to be trekking in the Langtang region of the Himalayas for the next couple of weeks, so I won't be in touch. It is a beautiful area that is not as popular as the Everest or Annapurna regions, so it is a little more off the beaten path. I feel very safe here, and I'm looking forward to getting out of the city. I love you all very much, and will be in touch when I get back to the city. Love, Aubrey. So this is a very important email because it kind of establishes the critical 10 to 14 day window for her expected return. So this is really great for searchers down the road. They have this email and they kind of know she's planning to spend a week or two in this area. So if she doesn't come out in a few days, it's not going to raise alarm bells yet.
Yeah.
It's now April 21st of 2010. So this is between morning and afternoon. So approximately at 7 a.m., she boards a public bus for the long 8 to 10 hour overland journey on rough, winding roads to the village, to a village that was at about a 4,900 foot elevation, which is the primary trailhead for the Langtang Valley. It's Saya Bruzbesi.
That's crazy because it's only 30 miles outside of Kathmandu.
Yeah.
And it's a 10-hour drive. That's how bad the
8 to 10.
infrastructure. That's
Well,
wild.
you've been on probably forest roads in the park that are...
I mean, and just like driving around Costa Rica between towns will
Yeah.
be like multiple hours more than it should be if you had good like flat roads.
Yeah.
But it's just slow.
I mean, I remember our drive into Canyonlands. You had to kind of dodge massive potholes in the trail to not like break your car. So that means you're going like 2 miles an hour for miles. So it's now approximately 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. She arrives at this little village that is the trailhead for the Langtang Valley. She proceeds directly to the official checkpoint to complete the mandatory registration process. Her TIMS number, which is Trekkers Information Management System, was number 01888840, and it was issued and stamped. This is the first and significantly the only stamp her card would ever receive. So this is another good clue that she made it to the start of the trail. So this is also another good clue for searchers down the road. She stays at the Namaste Tea House and met a guide, Tenzin Dorji Jansen, who gave her a book. And this is kind of the last known friendly contact that Aubrey had. It's now April 22nd of 2010. In the morning, approximately 7:30 a.m., she begins her solo trek from the little small village. The trail descends into the Langtang Kola and then follows its course eastward into a steep-sided V-shaped gorge. Joe had mentioned this in the location profile. And like Joe said, this environment, it sounds rugged and dense. It's temperate rainforest.
Yeah, anyone's looking, I've been pulling pictures up, and it's like
You
alpine.
sharing?
Yeah.
I always remind you.
Yeah, it says I am.
Okay.
I hope I have been. Yeah, I have been. All right.
Okay. Ooh. Whew. Yeah, it's rugged. I mean, it's dense, temperate rainforest. You got the deafening roar of that glacier-fed river. It's loud enough to mask other noises, like Joe said, including potential calls for help from somebody if someone was injured. But it looks stunning.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful.
I mean, there's not many parks in the U.S. that compare to the views you have here.
You can get every climate zone,
Yeah.
essentially.
I mean, it's, and then you got the rugged mountains in the background.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Amazing. What is that big animal? Is that a pig?
No, it's like
Oh, they're cows.
something like that. I think it had a weird name when I was going over the animals.
Oh, that goat-like creature?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
what that is.
Okay. It's now midday, so approximately 12 p.m. Aubrey stops for lunch at a tea house in a small settlement of Pero. She is observed here by a group of Israeli trekkers. Their subsequent witness statements are consistent and crucial, so this is very important. They describe her as being alone, confident, in good physical condition and spirits, and actively consulting her map, and her behavior was that of a competent, prepared trekker. So this is important. It's the 22nd at noon, and we have witness statements from other hikers that she's in good health, good mental state. She's consulting her map, so she's very, everything seems to be good. It's 12 o'clock. She's good. It's now afternoon, approximately 2 to 3 p.m. She arrives at the cluster of guest houses known as Lama Hotel. Joe mentioned this briefly. It's an elevation of about 2,400 meters or 8,100 feet. She stops at the friendly guest house for a brief rest and a cup of tea. So after resting for a bit and getting her strength back, with several hours of daylight remaining, she makes the logical and common decision to continue for another 20 or 30 minutes to the next lodging area, Rimchi. And she was going to do this just to kind of get a little more ground in before nightfall. So it's now late afternoon, around probably 3:30 p.m. This would be the last confirmed sighting of Aubrey and kind of the start of her disappearance window. So a soldier on duty at the army post, along with several other trekkers in the area, provide statements confirming they saw a lone female trekker matching her description cross the bridge and proceed up the trail until she was obscured by a blind turn. So this trail segment between the Lama Hotel and Rimchi has a critical section of it that some people call a choke point. So it's a narrow path that crosses an exposed landslide scree field before traversing a small wooden bridge. Immediately after the bridge, the trail makes a sharp blind turn behind a large rock outcropping. So This geography severely limits lines of sight and creates what investigators would later identify as a natural ambush location. So we'll get into theories, but keep in your head about the topography of this terrain, how you've got that natural choke point, and then you've got people that go out of the line of sight on the trail. And remember, this is only a 20 or 30-minute hike. This should be very easy and doable for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
This should not cause anybody a problem. However, she never arrived at Rimchi. The time and distance gap for her disappearance, like we said, is exceptionally small. 20-minute a walk along a single, well-defined path. So just start thinking about theories with me saying that.
Okay.
Think hard, Joe.
I will. I am thinking.
I am thinking. It's because of our magic mind. Our free shot.
Yes.
So it's now April 30th of 2010. It's just during the day. This would be the 10-day mark of Aubrey's stated trek. So her mother, Corinne, acting on strong intuition that something was profoundly wrong, contacts the U.S. Embassy in Kathmandu to officially report her daughter is missing. By May 5th, Paul and Connie, her parents, arrive in Kathmandu. They immediately take direct command of what would become one of the most expensive and expansive private search operations in Nepal's history, converting their hotel room into a 24/7 operational headquarters. The time frame now jumps to May 6th to late June of 2010. So the intensive search operation is active every day, weather permitting. They had elite Sherpa teams using technical climbing gear to rappel into inaccessible ravines and long poles to probe long jams in the violent river. They even chartered a Eurocopter AS-350B3 helicopter from the respected company called Fishtail Air, and they flew dozens of low-level grid search missions. They also had canine search and rescue units that were deployed, but found no scent trail leading off the main path. And that's not too surprising for the length of time that passed. We're talking 10 days or more. That's going to be tough for a dog to continue to pick up scent. Unfortunately, the exhaustive search yielded no physical evidence of any kind. Some people called this the snag factor, the high probability that a large, buoyant, brightly colored backpack would be caught on rocks or washed ashore in the turbulent river was a key point emphasized by search professionals, and the complete lack of any debris is profound statistical anomaly for an accidental fall scenario. And it was around this time that actually the U.S. Embassy and FBI joined the case as liaisons and provided forensic advice to the private search. So that's pretty cool. That even in Nepal, they were able to get some kind of assistance from the FBI.
Yeah.
So it's now all the way up to September of 2012. And, by this time, searches for her had yielded nothing. The FBI was brought in to help, and nothing they did could bring any closure. So the SACOs hire Jonathan C.R. Davies, a former U.S. Army Special Forces Green Beret with expertise in tracking and site analysis. Davies spends weeks in the Langtang Valley applying military intelligence and tracking methodologies. And he also spent a lot of time re-interviewing witnesses, and he conducted a detailed analysis of the terrain. I would love to get his report.
Yeah, we should see if we can get him on the show.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can reach out to him.
He reports encountering what he documents as a pattern of non-cooperation and inconsistent contradictory statements from the Nepal Army barracks near the disappearance point, which fueled suspicion of a cover-up, obviously.
Yeah.
His final report methodically deconstructs the accident theory as statistically impossible. He concludes with high professional certainty that Aubrey was the victim of a planned multi-assailant ambush at the trail's choke point. He posits the motive was robbery that escalated to abduction, sexual assault, and murder. His investigation identified a primary suspect, but Nepalese police cited a lack of direct forensic evidence required to secure a conviction. April, we're moving, so that was 2012. It's now April 25th of 2015. And this, I think I remember this in the news. So around 11:56 a.m. local time, a 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck central Nepal. And I think I remember that because didn't that cause an avalanche on Everest that actually killed a bunch of hikers and Sherpas?
I remember seeing it because there was a Google executive that was at the base camp that died or something like that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember hearing it. I think this is what I remember in the news. So
I'll look it up.
Yeah, so the quake triggers a catastrophic avalanche of rock and ice from 7,200 meter peak of the area. The resulting debris flow and the powerful air blast completely scoured and then buried the settlement of Langtang village, a key point in Aubrey's intended route, and it was buried under dozens of meters of rubble.
Yeah, they're saying it killed nearly 9,000 people and injuring over 22,000, displacing 2.8 million people.
I remember that was big news.
That was big news.
I do remember that.
That's pretty ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Keep going. I'll look for some videos and some stuff.
So, like Joe said, this was a mass casualty event, and it permanently and violently altered the topography.
April 25, 2015, the day the ground shook and a nation broke. At 11:56 a.m., a 7.8 magnitude earthquake ripped through Nepal. Its epicenter near Barpak in Gorkha district, just 80 kilometers from Kathmandu. It was the most powerful earthquake to hit.
I'm going to find some videos.
Okay.
Just keep going.
So, that is kind of where the timeline ends. And we'll get into theories. So we have an official theory that the local law enforcement believe is the true theory. And then we have the theory from the private investigator that the family hired to reinvestigate the case. So the first theory that law enforcement believes is true is accidental death by falling into that river. So the theory goes, while walking on the narrow trail between the Lama Hotel and Rimchi, Aubrey slipped on a wet rock, loose scree, or
This is the damage left after an earthquake devastated the heavily crowded Kathmandu Valley, killing at least 1,900.
The force of the current quickly pulled her under, and her body was swept
The
downstream,
7.9 magnitude
either trapped
quake
underwater
struck
by
at
debris or
midday
carried
on
miles
Saturday,
away.
the 25th of April.
So, on the surface, this seems like a very plausible theory. There's lots of facts that would support this theory.
It's crazy.
That's wild.
That'd be terrifying.
Another fact that really supports this is just how powerful that river is. So the Langtang Khola is obviously a very formidable force of nature. It's a glacier-fed river, so the water is very dense. It's extremely cold. Hypothermia would be almost instantaneous. Last episode, we talked about that. Oh, did you see the email from John?
Yeah, I didn't listen to it
I
yet.
didn't either. I didn't want to listen. Maybe we'll do that over the July break. We'll have a quick little episode and talk about hypothermia.
Yeah, so John, we got your email. I've been so busy. I just didn't. I want to be able to sit down and hear it.
We'll do a live reaction to it.
Okay, we can do that. I'm just saying, the only reason I haven't listened to it is, I hate when somebody sends something that, matters to them. I don't want to, just play it on my phone while I'm driving to work, when I actually get into it, and I haven't had the time yet. So
okay, we will do some kind of little episode and really do it the honor.
Yes,
it
absolutely.
deserves. So, like I said, the power of the river is a main fact in why this theory is, could have happened. So it's extremely cold. It's turbulent. Its power is definitely sufficient to carry a person and their belongings quickly away and conceal them under rocks or, many, many miles downriver.
Yep.
And the final fact is basically Occam's razor. So it really just the simplest explanation is usually what happened.
Yeah.
So, hikers and trekkers go missing all the time, not only just in the Himalayas, but all over the world from just your ho-hum fall. I mean, not ho-hum.
No matter how prepared you are, accidents can still happen.
People make mistakes.
Yeah, being prepared means you'll make less mistakes, which it sounded like she was beyond prepared. But, just we're pretty good, and we like every now and then you do something really dumb. You're like, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah, and like
out there in certain areas,
yeah,
one little misstep could mean major life-changing thing happening.
Being prepared is great for preventing the really dumb mistakes.
Yes.
That are incredibly, very easy to prevent.
Super avoidable stuff.
There's nothing that can prevent kind of what I would call the act of God mistake. Just you slip on a wet rock. I mean, you trip on a root on the trail, or you're too close to the edge and a part of it breaks off and your foot falls, and stuff like that. No matter if you're the most experienced hiker on the planet, that still might get you. So, some things that would go against this theory. So we've got the anomaly of nothing was found. So this is probably the single most powerful counter argument. So despite one of the most extensive and, like I said, expensive private search operations in Nepal's history, not a single piece of physical evidence was ever found. And, she had that huge, 60-liter, brightly colored lime green and yellow backpack on. And search and rescue experts, including those hired by the family, stated that the probability of such a large, buoyant object not being snagged on numerous rocks or log jams or riverbanks over miles of searching was basically impossible. So something would have washed ashore. Another fact that goes against this theory is Aubrey's experience and caution. Like I said earlier, she was fit, experienced, very meticulous individual. She wasn't reckless. And like we said, while accidents can happen to anyone, her profile makes it less likely. And then, a couple other things that go against this. We did have a canine search team in there. They couldn't find a scent. If they weren't out there right away, I don't know how likely they would have found a scent, but they didn't find a scent. And finally, just the location. She disappeared on a very relatively straightforward, well-used section of the trail. It's not notoriously difficult. It's not a mountain pass that requires technical skills. It's not on a confusing junction. It really should have only taken her 20 minutes to do. That's all. And she went out of sight and was gone. So this theory, according to the family, they considered it very low. And their private investigators and many independent analysts also agreed with the family, though the law enforcement locally said this was the theory that they're sticking with.
Yeah.
The other theory...
I don't know, like with foreign governments, you don't know, like, what's their end goal, what's their motive?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, do they not want it to look like it was an abduction because it'd be bad for tourism or something like that? So, you got something crazy going on out there? Are you worried your car's getting towed?
I'm just looking. No, it's good. I thought I saw something. We're good. We're all good.
Like a threat?
Yeah. So, all right. The second theory, before we wrap this episode up, is the theory that the private investigator came up with, which was foul play. He believes it was abduction or murder. So the theory goes, Aubrey was targeted by one or more individuals at the choke point on the trail near the army barracks. The motive was likely robbery. The crime escalated from robbery to abduction, possibly sexual assault, and then ultimately murder to eliminate the only witness. The perpetrators, having local knowledge, then deliberately and meticulously hid her body and all of her belongings in a location where they would never be found, possibly by burying them, hiding them in a cave, or weighing them down in a deep pool of the river. And like I said, this was the theory that Jonathan C.R. Davies firmly believed happened. And he stated the following facts in this theory that really lead it to, I think this is the theory of what happened. So, nothing was found. We went through this multiple times, how logically, if she had fallen into that river, something, especially a large, buoyant lime green bag, would have showed up somewhere. It wouldn't have just disappeared into Narnia. So, and a random accident usually leaves traces.
Like a slip point or something?
Something. A deliberate crime includes usually deliberate cover-up. The disappearance of Aubrey and all of her gear suggests a method, like a very concerted effort to erase her presence. And she was hiking through an ambush-friendly location. The point of disappearance, a blind turn on a narrow trail, is a textbook ambush site, according to the investigator. It offers the perpetrators concealment and control over their target. There was also some Army barracks controversy, so the family and their investigators reported a significant lack of cooperation and inconsistent statements from the soldiers at the nearby Army post, raising suspicion. And then there were reports that there have been several solo female trekkers in that area between 2010 and 2011 that were attacked while on solo hikes.
Okay, that's
So,
important.
It's happened before and after.
Yeah, I think that's a big key.
So
It doesn't sound like that is an abnormal occurrence.
no, and honestly, the law enforcement did arrest a couple individuals in 2013, suspected of murdering Aubrey, but then they had to release them due to no evidence. So, law enforcement maybe was trying to do something, but I think the fact that solo female hikers have been attacked there in the past is a big deal.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So, the previous attacks, the problems with the Army barracks, this raised deep suspicions of either direct involvement by a soldier or a cover-up of a crime they witnessed or knew about, which maybe been committed by a local. The proximity of the disappearance to the post tasked with security of that area is also a major red flag. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So the professional investigator's conclusion, the report said definitively concluded that an accident was impossible. He said, based on site analysis, witness interviews, and his expertise in tracking, he asserted with high confidence that it was a planned ambush and murder. And also, he goes on to note that this time in Nepal was a post-conflict environment, so while it was generally safe, the region in 2010 was still navigating a fragile post-Civil War peace. So
Okay.
the presence of former combatants and criminal elements made robbery a known but infrequent risk. So there are a couple facts against this theory. I'll just get into those quick. So there was lack of direct forensic evidence. So we didn't have any evidence of a crime. They could have, covered up the crime very well.
Well, and it was a period of time had passed before their private investigator started looking.
Yeah. And just general safety of the trail, even though a couple other solo female hikers have been attacked around this time, this trail, that valley, is considered pretty safe, and crime in it is actually extremely rare. And the murder of a foreign tourist would have been a major anomaly and detrimental to the local economy. So it's not in the government's best interest to have foreign tourists get murdered.
Yeah.
But if one of your soldiers at a barracks murders someone, it might be in your best interest to cover that up.
Yes.
So, with all that said, the investigator and the family felt that there was a very high likelihood that she was murdered. So,
Okay.
quickly, before I just open the floor to you, quick, Joe, there were two other theories that were dismissed pretty quickly. So, voluntary disappearance. She just wasn't the type of person that would do that. She was so meticulous in her planning.
Yeah.
Left the email, just off the table.
You don't do any of that stuff if you want to disappear.
No. And animal attack. So if she
I don't think animal attack.
yeah, I mean, she could have been attacked by a snow leopard, but they typically are at higher elevations, or a bear. And this was dismissed relatively quickly by wildlife experts and search teams. So, large predators capable of killing and carrying away a full-grown adult and her 60-liter backpack are not common
Yeah.
in this area. And furthermore, such an attack would have obviously left behind significant evidence, drag marks, blood, torn clothing, none of which was found. And the canine units would also probably pick up something from that.
Yeah.
So with all that said,
With all that said,
what do you think?
I actually changed my mind as you're describing more information. I thought, kind of like you said, Occam's razor, like slip and fall can happen and get washed away. But then when you talked about post-Civil War conditions and that other people were also attacked, I am leaning heavily towards this is some sort of abduction, attack, or some violent like she's a victim of a murder. Absolutely. And to your point, if the government in a post-Civil War where they're trying to make it more friendly for tourism, you're going to want to have the outcome of that be an accident versus your country's too dangerous to travel to.
Absolutely.
So at first I thought, okay, the guy doing the research, he's talking about choke points. He's like a military guy.
Yeah.
He's going to see what he's trained to look for.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. But then when you threw in there were other attacks. Okay, this wouldn't have been considered a one-off. It was part of a pattern, it appears, that was emerging.
And if the soldiers in the army barracks are completely innocent, why wouldn't they cooperate?
Yeah.
It's not like the U.S. was a direct adversary of Nepal at the time, and they held animosity against Americans.
But if they don't want to do anything to squash relations whatsoever, like
they want American tourists to come there, and so that raises a red flag for me that
would be pretty detrimental to relations if your military personnel abducted,
killing
assaulted, a female tourist. That would be a huge issue.
And she was in town for a few days.
Yeah.
I'm sure those soldiers come downtown.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of people there. You get to know whoever's there and what they're doing.
A foreign tourist in town.
And she was meticulously planning and probably telling everyone where she would be.
Yeah,
and
she was asking around.
Yes.
Talking to locals.
Okay, I can.
My guess is it wasn't like. I think they're right that it was just going to be a robbery, and then somehow it turned into they murdered her.
Yeah.
Or maybe they intended the murder because she was a witness.
I'm kind of on that train.
Yeah. Sadly, I think this one is a murder, and with that earthquake, I don't think anything will ever be found.
That's I agree. I think serendipitous timing for the perpetrators. So, well, let us know what you think, and thanks again for tuning into our show. We appreciate all of you for listening and sharing.
Thank you to Magic Mind.
Yeah, thank you, Magic Mind. And thank you for sharing Locations Unknown with your friends and family. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, where you'll be able to see the video of what you're hearing of each episode.
It's amazing technology.
It's amazing technology. Also, if you'd like to support the show monetarily, please visit our website or Facebook store to buy some sweet swag. You can subscribe to our Patreon accounts, YouTube subscriptions, Apple, anywhere you access or pay for subscriptions to get special events, additional shows for paid customers only. And lastly, when enjoying the beauty of nature, whether backpacking, camping, or simply taking a walk, always remember to leave no trace. Thanks, and we will see you all next time.